Hello everyone, it's Jean. Well, I'm back again this week to show you the second tag that I'm doing with Anne Brooks' 52-week challenge. She's doing a tag every week, and this is the second one. And this week, funnily enough, she showed her prompt was more or less in these colours. I'm not sure about red. I know she was focusing on blue, and I really can't remember if there was any red in it, but you could use whatever colours you wanted, obviously, but it just so happened that before Christmas I'd bought this Modder French General. It's Vive la France, and it's for another project that I'm working on, and when I saw hers, I thought, they're perfect. I bought the jelly roll. I mean, you can buy it by the metre or the yard, each fabric, but I bought the jelly roll because there's a good mix, and for the projects for the stitching that I'm doing right now, these are just 2.5 inches wide, and they're perfect, you know, for little scraps that you want to cut. So and there's a lovely selection of different fabrics that you can use. I think jelly rolls are really handy for that sort of thing. Yes, so what I did, Anne wanted you to do patchwork this time. So under here there are 5 different fabrics, all from the Vive la France. And you can't see each one, but because they get covered up, obviously, but they are under there. And then it was just a matter of doing straight stitches down onto the main fabric, and I think it's the main fabric that you can't see. It's under there. Anyway, so I did some straight stitching. You can't see it on there because I did it in a very dark blue. You can see more of it here. I did some French knots in this navy and red. Some red straight stitching here. And then I put this lace in the middle. She wanted us to do a heart this week, so I did a heart in a plain red, and then put this little leaf shape lace on top. I've got some navy French knots and 3 linen buttons. I didn't use the linen buttons last week. On my one last week I used these glass shell buttons, so I thought I'd use the linen buttons this time. And that's about it really, and doesn't take very long to do. I was surprised to see it. I don't know whether she did it early I think she did the first one early, but I expected to see it today, Saturday, but she put it up yesterday, and I had to start it straight away, but I'm actually not going to do that in future. We've got all week to do it in, and there's no point in rushing, you know, to get it up for the weekend. So I will show mine every week, but I'm not sure what day it's going to be on. So I've stitched it to the back. I put my week tour on it and the date on it, and I'm not going to do all my thread on the back in white. I'm going to do it in the predominant colour that I've got, that I've worked the front with, so just to make it a bit different. And I've got my template all ready with the hole punch like I showed you last week, and it can go on here. So that's number 2. I have written on the back, I'm not going to share it with you because that's personal to me, and I won't be writing on the back until the end of the week, so that I can just record little things that have happened all through the week. If I wrote something on it now, you know, I'd fill it up, and then there's the rest of the week to go. So that's what I've done. So that is that. And then I'm going to do a couple of reviews actually. Somebody asked me if I would show them the Jessie Chorley stitching that I'm doing, and here it is. And it's not quite finished yet, but I'm nearly there. So this is it, and I'm going to spread it out. And so this is the front of the, it's a little booklet actually. And the reason I got this was to practice my stitching, because I've not done it for a long time. And I thought, rather than just practice stitching on a spare piece of fabric, I'd rather do something that was fairly simple but have a project at the end of it, something that I could use. So I started to stitch. Now the only thing is with this, there aren't a lot of instructions in the kit. I mean, you're more or less left to do your own devices, which is fair enough. But the one thing that she does tell you to do, which I really cannot understand at all, she just gives you the different steps. Step 1. And the first thing that she tells you to do is to put your pages together like that and stitch down all 4 sides to get it together. That's before she tells you to embroider. And I really cannot understand that, because you certainly wouldn't want to do that. And if you were a beginner to sewing, you might well do that, you know. But you need to leave it open till you've done your stitches, because you don't want your stitches going through to the other side. So that is a bit of a mystery to me. If somebody that supposedly knows about stitching, why that would be in the instructions, I've no idea. So that was the first thing. And then I got on with the sewing. I thought, well, you know, I know what to do. But I just thought I would mention that in case anybody's starting doing one of these books and, you know, has never sewn before. Don't sew it together first. I just overlocked it so that it wouldn't fray. So then I did my stitching, and it's mostly the stitches that she uses are basically a variation on straight stitches. So I've used stem stitch, French knots, I think this is stem stitch round here and round here mostly, and just straight stitch where I've picked things out. She tells you that you don't need to sew to embroider everything that's on there. I have embroidered most of it, but I've just got on the back here, I've just got some French knots to do on the top here. I have embroidered round there in blue, and a bit of stitching round here. I've done the needle in a silver thread, and on the front I've couched thread down onto these scissors and with the large needle here, and then just some cross stitches that are actually on the design. And on this side I've got a little bit more to do here. She does, in the kit there are included some little pieces of fabric which she shows you here, that not the same as these, but I did do just one piece on the front there, but I'm going to put most of them, I will put some more on the front, but the ones that I'm going to use from this Modder fabric, because it is in the colours that are mostly on here, which is blue and red. I have put other colours in obviously, but you know, it's predominantly blue and red, so I'm going to use little bits from that that I can put on here to put my needles in. But the other thing that I was disappointed with was when you fold it over for a book and try to get it sort of spaced out, it's not going to work. So if you get the front first, and that's okay, and then you turn it over, you've got this spare here. I mean, if you take it to the very edge, then you've got part of the back coming over. So if you take it there, which it does actually show on here, look, so she's got that coming to the edge. It looks as if the spare fabric here, she's got to put the bits of fabric on, but then again, No, because she's actually stitched it onto here, so she maybe stitched it onto there and onto there, but she can't have because you've got to open it. So I really don't know what the idea is there at all. I really don't. It's a bit of a puzzle. But anyway, you get it like that. Then when you turn it over, even if you use that, that is not in the centre. And it's probably me being fussy, but you know, I like things right. And if you tuck it in to make it the size of the front, it's still way over that side. So the printing is wrong on it. You maybe get away with the middle. I mean, that is the middle of it. That's not so bad, because you don't need to do any stitching down there, to be honest. You just fold over. But yeah, I'm a bit disappointed with it. But I will continue to finish it, because it will be a project. But as I say, you know, it wasn't very expensive. That's all I can say. And yeah, it is a bit disappointing. So that was that one. I don't think I'll be buying another Jessie Chorley. It's really put me off it. And then the other one that I bought was this creative stitching. I think I mentioned last week that I'd really become interested in Sue Spargo's circles. I've seen quite a few on Pinterest, and I thought, oh, I'd love to do that. I saw this book advertised, and I thought, oh, that's great. So I bought it, and when I got it and I opened it up, eagerly looking forward to seeing some projects, there aren't any inside. No projects inside at all. It is just merely stitching. You get a few photographs or pictures, but doesn't actually show you, you know, it's just the basic stitching. And I thought, well, that was a waste of money, because I've got loads of books with stitching in. You know, I needn't have wasted my money. I mean, even those, you know, that's probably a sample, but there's nothing that shows you how to go around the edges. So I just put it to one side, and I continued to look through YouTube to see if I could find anything else. And I came across this lady, and they call her Ariannes. And she does all the stitches that are in the creative stitching by Sue Spargo for the circles. They're called sand dollars, actually. And she shows you all the stitching, and I thought, oh, that is absolutely wonderful. Because to be honest, I am a visual learner, I should say, rather than reading out of a book. So I thought, oh, that's perfect. But then I realised that she's a left-handed stitcher, and it is for left-handed people. So I can't find anything that shows you right-handed with the sand dollars. So what I've been doing is converting from left hand to right hand. And honestly, it's not easy, especially when you're not familiar with the stitches. But I did manage it to a degree. And then what I'd done, rather than start a project proper, I thought, right, I'd better do samples, and I just did some woolen circles and put them on a piece of fabric, and I meant to bring it down to show you. But I've been practising how I'd converted it to right-handed, and it's taken quite a while. But then after a while, I picked this book up and I looked and I thought, oh, yeah, I get it now. All the stitches that are in here, there's a list of them, alphabetical list of stitches, are all the ones that Ariannes shows you. But if you look back in this book, this is how to do it right-handed. So between the two, that's what I've been doing. I'm still not very impressed with this book, because, you know, it's like going all round and finishing. Arianne gives you tips on how to get to to here, to the points, where to actually start, which it doesn't really explain in the book at all. So it's been useful in some respects, but disappointing in others. So I'm really pleased that I watched Ariannes Searcher. And I will put a link to her channel because she is worth watching. And if you're left-handed, you'll have no problem whatsoever. I mean, her stitches are absolutely beautiful. Her work is gorgeous. Yeah, so I just thought I would come on and just give you... It's just my opinions, of course. Other people might find it very good, especially if you're familiar with all the stitches. Yeah, as I say, just my opinion. So I hope you found it useful. And as I say, I will put all the links in the description box underneath this video. And I will see you next week sometime with the tag number 3. So thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.